Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. Yup, so it's pretty much exactly like I said it the other day. Instead of getting caught up in the mud with Democrats, which is probably exactly what they want, the better strategy, I think, is to kind of just sit back and chuckle a little bit, let them blow a fuse, chant, and dance outside the Capitol buildings. Just, give them their space for now, and be very patient. Just wait for the stories to slowly trickle out. And when I was suggesting this strategy, I said let's just wait for the investigations to wrap up, let's wait for the audits to finish, and wait for the stories to start dropping of Democrat politicians sending massive government contracts to their spouses. That's exactly what I said, right? You have politician A, who allocates a bunch of money or deals with a big budget, and just wait till we see the multi-million-dollar contracts that are handed to organizations that are ran by their husband or wife. And lo and behold, these stories are already starting to drop. Surprise, surprise, surprise to pretty much no one, and I pretty much guarantee you that this is just scratching the surface. The corruption's already getting exposed. What's happening is exactly what the Democrats told us isn't happening. No real surprise there. Let me show you guys exactly what's going on. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. Alright folks, so let's first start off with this story. LA's top homelessness official signed a $2.1 million contract with husband's employer. Enter Valicia Adams Kellum, the CEO of the Los Angeles Homeless Service Authority, a woman who's running an $800 million budget while pocketing a fat $430,000 a year salary. And well, apparently she used that privileged position to hand over a real cushy contract to a company that her husband was working at. The documents show that Valicia, I guess that's just Valicia Adams Kellum, chief executive of the Los Angeles Homeless Service Authority, the LAHSA, signed a $2.1 million contract and two other contract amendments with Upboard Boundhouse, a Santa Monica-based nonprofit where her husband, Edward Kellum, works in a senior leadership position. The contract names Adams Kellum as the LAHSA official authorized to administer it. Just blatant corruption for everybody to see. In fact, she just signed the document herself, knowing that it was probably a conflict of interest, knowing that it was either deeply unethical or possibly even illegal. Not a care in the world, she did it anyways. And then once the issue of a conflict of interest was brought up, Karen Bass and other top Democrat officials stepped in and approved the contracts. LA Mayor Karen Bass was among the commissioners who voted unanimously last year to allow Adams Kellum to sign other contracts with the service provider, according to the meeting minutes and agendas. Bass was not yet on the commission for the August 2023 vote. Then when asked for comment about the conflict of interest, Zach Seidel, a spokesperson for Bass, said work is underway to make sure that the LAHSA is more transparent and accountable, including initiating additional protocols to prevent further issues. Oh, we're sorry that we approved $2.1 million going to friends and families. We're going to launch an investigation into ourselves and make sure that we're more accountable and transparent in the future. It's just such a complete joke. And of course, it's not just happening in Los Angeles. No, we've got another story, this time with a Democrat senator. Bring in Senator Sheldon Whitehouse, one of the most obnoxious, self-righteous Democrats in Washington, who spent the last few weeks, by the way, screaming about Elon Musk cutting US aid funding. Well, Mr. Sheldon Whitehouse might want to take a little bit of a back seat here, maybe start shying away from the camera, because it turns out that Whitehouse is just another Washington swamp rat, as we're now learning that he was personally pushing legislation that funneled millions of taxpayer dollars directly into his wife's environmental nonprofit, the Ocean Conservancy. Sounds nice, right? It's always the same kind of names in nonprofits. Reminds me of Stacey Abrams' nonprofit. Fox News broke it down a little bit. Ethics watchdog flags senator helping wife rake in millions for nonprofit. Ocean Conservancy has received more than $14.2 million in federal grants since 2008 per USAspending.gov. During 2024 alone, it was given two sizable grants, one for $5.2 million from the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, the NOAA, for marine debris cleanup in September, and another for $1.7 million from the Environmental Protection Agency, the EPA, again to assist with marine debris cleanup. Like I said, the same frickin' MO every single time and just follow the money. This is the way the game is played. We're doing such important work like cleaning up the oceans. We need $7 million. And then it just happens that the person doing that work is a senator's wife. Can there be a little bit of transparency here, a little bit of accountability? Can his wife actually prove that she was doing good and consistent work in fulfilling this objective? Because the way it looks like to me is they just make these nonprofits to study things or to do important work, but we never actually see proof that they're doing that work. And obviously, it's highly suspect that a senator would be pushing legislation to hand millions of dollars to his own wife, to his own family member. You know, there's obviously a pattern here. Kind of reminds me of what we saw during the Black Lives Matter scams, where all these organizers and foundation heads were funneling huge security contracts and other contracts to their brothers and husbands and cousins. And again, what I really want people to focus on here is the modus operandi. There's obviously a common denominator here. I got another story to show you guys from Jesse Waters at Fox News. You might notice a little bit of a trend.
Meet Latricia Adams. She was an advisor to the Biden White House. How she got that job, I have no idea. The Free Beacon reports that while she was working as a White House advisor, our friend Latricia applied for a contract. And not just any contract, a $20 million contract. This $20 million contract was for environmental justice. And right before Biden leaves office, he gives this $20 million contract to Latricia. Her group, Young, Gifted, and Green, got the $20 million. More like Young, Grifted, and Green. Does Latricia have any background in environmental science? No, not really. 10 years ago, Latricia was a high school Spanish teacher. She has a bachelor's in Spanish.
Another Democrat operative given a $20 million grant for, quote, environmental justice. Every one of these Democrats just raking in serious cash, not as much as Stacey Abrams collecting $2 billion in taxpayer funds for her environmental group. But so many of them, so many of these top connected Democrats, all getting millions upon millions of dollars to do environmental work. Again, what are they doing? The American people deserve answers, because the way I see it, frankly, it just looks like slush fund money funneling to me. And what's crazy is these stories keep popping up of all this money being handed over to all of these Democrats to do all of this supposedly important work. But meanwhile, what are the Democrats focused on? Elon Musk.
People like the grifter-in-chief Trump and President Musk are openly using their public offices to enrich themselves to the tune of billions of dollars. President Musk and the President of the United States, Donald Trump, who is engaged in grifting of the American people, often use their public offices to enrich themselves. I will say the president's grifting because you spent the last 2 years saying President Biden
Take down his words.
I can say that Trump is grifting. What I will withdraw is calling him grifter-in-chief.
We're seeing so much focus. Oh, Elon Musk is enriching himself. He's getting all these cushy government contracts. Well, first of all, Democrats gave him those contracts. Secondly, he's actually providing service, basically doing the work that NASA can't. And thirdly, his corporations actually do something and provide jobs for American citizens. So miss me on that Elon stuff, but if you guys are so concerned with people supposedly enriching themselves through government contracts and subsidies, maybe look at your own party. Maybe look at a sitting senator who handed $14+ million to his wife's supposed environmental organization. Maybe look at Los Angeles and the $1 billion homelessness scam that they're running there that hasn't achieved a goddamn thing. And we've got the top CEO, the homelessness czar of LA, handing over a cushy $2 million contract to a company that her husband works at as a senior executive. What else can I say other than if it weren't for double standards, the left wouldn't have any standards at all. Holy friggin' moly. And let me tell you, this is just scratching the surface. Like I keep saying, it's gonna keep getting worse, I pretty much guarantee you that. Anyways, that's what I got for you guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.